if I think I'm addicted, what do I do? How do I know?
Mhm.
Do I go to a psychiatrist? I hear this a lot. Well, maybe I need to go to a psychiatrist to figure this out. Maybe there's a medication or a pill that I can take. I work with a lot of people internationally, and they will ask, isn't there just a pill? Can't I just take a pill? It's like, well, no, we don't have that quite yet.
Yeah.
So what do we say to these
Well, there
folks?
are some medications that can help with urge reduction if there's an addiction going on, which is cool. But as far as I think I'm an addict, what do I do? We live in an amazing age of information dissemination right now. And so the first thing, if you think that there's an addiction, go online. And there are all kinds of self-assessments for, am I a gambling addict? Am I a sex addict? Do I have an eating disorder? And start doing a little bit of research and see if those self-assessments or the things that people are describing when they talk about their experiences match your experience or match your perception of what's going on for you. The second thing about, do I go see a psychiatrist? And I think that this is something that you got to be careful with. I absolutely think it's helpful to go see a therapist, a psychiatrist, a psychologist to help you figure out, is this truly an addiction? I would also be careful to make sure that I was going to a specialist in that specific addictive realm. I don't do eating disorders and alcohol addiction, and I can give people, an informed idea of whether I think there's something really going on, but I'm not really competent to tell someone whether they have an eating disorder or an alcohol addiction. And in sex addiction, unfortunately, I've had way too many people that have talked to other therapists that don't know this field. And I look at them and say, wow, this is clearly out of control, clearly problematic. There's lots of consequences coming your way. You haven't been able to stop. And there's lots of preoccupation going on. And their therapist says, well, people are sexual. And, you just need to open up your mind a little bit more and be comfortable. And it's not about sexual mores. It's about the underlying pattern that's going on with that behavior. So absolutely go see a specialist to get more information, but make sure that you're seeing a specialist who's a specialist in the area you think there might be addiction going on with, whether that's food, gambling, sex, or alcohol and drugs.
Mhm. Yeah, that's what I was going to say is go to therapist or a specialist, but make sure they're a specialist in the area that you're looking for. So if you're concerned that you have food addiction, go to a food addiction specialist. If you're concerned about alcohol, chemical, sex, gambling, go to a specialist who has expertise in that. Because sadly, people will make mistakes if they're not well versed. If you come to me for chemical dependency, I'm not your girl. I could, like Tim, I can talk about it, but really I'm going to refer you because in our world, we call it out of scope. It's out of my scope of practice. It's not what I'm specially trained in. So go to a specialist. Is there any piece that you would add, Dan?
Yeah, well, I was just thinking, that's exactly what I was thinking, but the one thing I would add, and I like to look at medical examples sometimes, like if I've got something going on with my brain, something's wrong neurologically, or I think something, I've got these massive headaches or something, and something's wrong. I'm probably not going to go to my general practitioner. I really want to find a specialist because that person will help me have a better sense of what's going on in our brain. And I think all of us are specialized in sex addictions particularly, but I thought, I think that's helpful to look at what you want to look at someone who knows, because I don't know for you all, but I had 2-unit class in my quarter system for grad school on addiction. One little class. Did you guys have, I don't know about your programs, maybe one class?
One class.
I had one class and it only talked about chemical and drug addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one class isn't quite enough. So there's therapists, we know stuff. We'd learn a lot, but I've had that one little 2-unit class about addiction, but I've had hundreds of hours of training and thousands of hours of specialized experience in this one area. And, you know, I wouldn't pretend to think that I know everything, but I'm clear in this one area. So I think that's a really, really good point, because
Mhm.
at least for me, if I didn't know better, I would say this therapist or psychiatrist or psychologist would, you know, they're well trained. Of course they are, and that they would be able to help. And they may be able to help, but you really want someone who knows their stuff, who's specialized in this area, whatever the area might be.